Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glen Sutherland.
Welcome to a new episode of A Canadian Investing in the U.S. This episode marks 8 years of doing this podcast. So in this one, I want to do a lot of value. I want to give you guys some shortcuts, some ways to create the same kind of things I've done across 8 years in a much shorter period of time. So there should be a lot of value in this one. So do stay tuned in, even right to the end, because there's going to be some stuff I'll slip in there in the middle, start, and anyway. So I released an episode every single week for 8 years. I didn't take breaks. I didn't take seasons. I didn't take excuses. When I went on vacation, I'd record it ahead of time. It's been a lot of work, right? And it's been a lot of boring, unsexy consistency for a long period of time. But success didn't come from me. Like, it didn't come from a single viral episode. I don't think I even have a viral episode. There's a few episodes that have done phenomenally well, but I never had a viral episode. My success came from doing the same effort all the time, consistency, right? Even when I didn't feel like it, even when I was busy, even when it wasn't paying off, even when at the start when no one was listening, you just got to keep going. Consistency compounds, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about doing a podcast or building a real estate business. It's going to come down to consistency. And if you do this long enough, you're going to see results. And a lot of times people stop right before their actual success is going to come. And most people quit too early. Honestly, a lot of people, they don't see results fast enough. They expect a lot of momentum before they've actually earned it. That's actually the most common thing. They expect this thing to blow up, and if they don't see results, they just stop, right? And the other thing they do is they confuse activity with progress, which are different things. We'll get into this. Some of the other ideas of why people quit too early is that they aren't making money right away. This is for real estate, or this is for like a podcast. A lot of this stuff is going to apply for both. But either the brand doesn't grow instantly, it didn't lead to deals, it just isn't taking traction. And in all honesty, there's a graveyard of podcasts out there, and very few of them, like the percentage of them, die less than 6 months. So put the effort in if you're going to do this. The other thing I want to do is make a critical distinction, because I'm talking about consistency, and it sounds like just putting the same effort in all the time is going to give you the result you're looking for. But consistency is not enough. This is a critical distinction, and I want to go into this. You can be consistent and you can still fail. You can work hard and you can still go nowhere. The difference is consistent, correct actions. And this is where I see a lot of real estate investors that are doing consistent actions, but they're not doing the correct consistent actions that are actually going to give them the results they're looking for. And I'm going to dig into this. And how I'm digging into this is, first, let's start off by comparing education versus execution in a real estate example, right? So education is important, right? In order to be successful, you're going to have to do a lot of, education in order to get there, right? So podcasts, books, courses, coaching, YouTube, masterminds. But honestly, education alone, it doesn't buy properties, it doesn't build teams, it doesn't analyze deals, it doesn't create cash flow. And, honestly, if your whole thing is you're one of those people who are constantly doing every single education course out there trying to get success, and you're not getting it, it's because you're doing the wrong actions. You can only learn so much before you have to actually start doing things you're learning. And honestly, that's one of the things I found with even coaching people and teaching people is, for a while, like we changed the coaching program probably a year and a half ago and revamped the whole thing. But before that, I was just teaching. I was doing all the teaching, and I was giving students all the tools they needed in order to succeed. And that was awesome. And some people went out there and took off and created big businesses, like some of them larger than mine, and just took it and ran. And kudos, that was awesome. And I was stoked about that. But then I started following up with students, and I found that there was a lot of students that did absolutely nothing with it. They didn't do the material. Like, even though they had all the lessons, they had the steps, you broke it down into a system, they could easily just go from step one to step, I don't know, 20 and go through and do all kinds of creative financing, even buy just a regular property. But there was a lot of people that weren't doing it. And honestly, that's why I changed the coaching program, because what I wanted it to be is there's a course that has all the material in it, but instead of me like doing, calls with you to teach you how to do stuff, I'd rather say, hey, go watch that video, and then let's jump on a one-on-one call. And based on, you learn stuff in the video, and then we go apply it in the call, right? So the way the program works now is when we're sitting down together, we're working on actual deal analysis, we're working on market analysis, we're working on building teams, we're actually working on towards things. And what it's done is it's made the success level much higher. You're seeing people like actually completing stuff, and at like percentage wise of the students at a really high level. And then no matter what, with any coaching program, you're going to find people that aren't, open to doing stuff. And here's the key is like, I'm going to go buy a multifamily building, or I want to flip another house. Those people can be my partners. So at the end of it, I'm seeing now students are actually like, everyone has the opportunity to be successful, whether you want to be active or not active. Yeah, so to go back to it, when I was talking before about like education versus execution, there's a thing called the comfort zone trap, right, of education. And what that does is it makes people feel productive. It's really safe. And it puts people in a safety zone. Like, they think that they're doing stuff towards, succeeding or completing their job. It avoids rejection. It avoids any risk. It avoids decision making. It avoids accountability. So just diving into the education deep without actually taking action towards your actual goals, it can be detrimental, right, to actually getting to your success. And what I've seen is people who are stuck in that point, they have a few different things that they're saying in their own heads. And this is what they are: I'm just learning a bit more first. I want to wait until the market changes. I want to be fully confident before. And and the truth is you need to take the action. You're not going to get confident and then act. You get confident by acting. So we want to see action. So what do I mean that? What kind of actions should people be doing to try and hit their success? So here's just a few examples of things you can be doing, right? Running your deal analysis every week, talking to realtors, wholesalers, sellers, building your team, property managers, CPA, attorneys and lawyers, insurance, making offers. Even if you're not good at it, just start doing stuff, making offers, putting them out there, because you shouldn't be winning them all, right? You should be getting rejected often. If you're getting every single property that you're offering on, you're offering too much. And the other thing about doing a consistent action is, if you're waiting until you have a deal in order to start doing consistent actions of, talking to potential investors, before, doing your podcast or being a guest on podcasts, if you're waiting until you have the deal in order to start doing the things, it's too late. You need to build the credibility before you need to. You need to open doors that couldn't have been otherwise open. You need to create the relationships, right, beforehand. Like, many of the opportunities that have come to me over the years are from seeds that were planted a long time ago. It's from those meetings I did. And you're not going to be able to control when the consistency is going to pay off. You just have to know in your head that eventually the consistency will pay off. And you just have to keep doing it, even when it's very difficult, when it's hard, when you think you're going nowhere. That's when you're getting close. And that's because people underestimate the lag time it's going to take before they're going to get the results. Like, one of the biggest reasons people quit is that they underestimate the lag, right? They think that if they start a podcast, it's going to explode and people are going to listen to it, like tons of people. And that might happen, but it's not a common reaction. My first year, nobody listened to the show. I was putting it out weekly, and in my head, I had, like, I don't know, 10 or 20 listeners every week. And I thought, you know what? If I could go speak at a real estate meetup to 10 or 20 people every single week, would I do it? And I would. And you just got to change your mindset. You don't have to go viral. You don't need this big thing. It's people will tell other people you have value in the podcast. People are going to come. Some other lags that you can get is real estate deal lag. Like sometimes I even go through phases where you just can't find a deal that's good enough, right? And then business credibility lag. You're going to need people to believe in your business, and sometimes that doesn't. Well, it shouldn't happen overnight. It's just like planting a tree. You water it long enough, and it gets some sun, and over time, it gets fruit. Some fruit trees, they don't produce in the first year. Sometimes it takes 2, 3 years to produce fruit. So think of your whole journey that way, and it's about putting consistent actions in order to get there. I hear this all the time though. It's the motivation. The motivation fades over time, and it is. And what's going to beat motivation is systems. Your systems need to beat your motivation. What do I mean by that? Like your motivation is unreliable, right? Sometimes you go to Glen's real estate conference, which is probably going to come out we're probably going to do one in April. But you go there and you're all fired up and it slowly fades off. And then something else fires you up and it gets fade off. What's going to beat that is creating a system, right? Systems are going to keep you consistent, even on bad weeks, right? And what do I mean by that? What's some examples? It's like, for my podcast, it's weekly recording schedule. Like it happens on the same day, right? A standard deal analysis template, weekly KPIs, like to check in to see how you're doing. Like depending on what you're trying to reach for your goal, you can step down and break it out, right? So KPIs are key performance indicators. So if you're like, I need to do a certain activity, in order to do that, I need to do this monthly, and then based on that, I need to do it weekly. And now you can keep track of how you're doing to proceed to progress to what your actual goal is. Because winners, they don't rely on motivation, they rely on structure. So my tips to keep this going, right? You need to be consistent for years, not weeks. Track the right matrix, your deals analyzed, your offers made, your conversions had. Keep track of all of it. And if you keep doing this, keep track of it for 3 years, it will lead to where you want to go. So I want to close this off and tell you consistency changed my life. Doing this podcast every week, it changed my life. Doing regular deal analysis, doing the regular things, setting time, on a specific night to do that. Sometimes it's having someone to report to if you're not doing what you're going to need to do. And sometimes you need a coach or someone to keep you going. But consistency changed my life. But not because I was busy every week. It worked because I kept showing up and doing the right things long enough for them to compound. And remember, invite reflection into your life. Where in your life are you being consistent but not effective? What's one correct action that you could start doing weekly? Hope this had some stuff in here that would be helpful. If you want to reach out, glensutherland.com/consult, free call. Maybe I can help get you motivated. Maybe I can answer some questions. Maybe we can get you moving on your real estate journey. But love to do a call with everyone. Reach out. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye.
That was a nice video. Bye.